But for real though, hey everybody, welcome back to the Graphic Multiverse. I'm your host Paul, joined with Chandler.
Hey there.
This is our catching up part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Vengeance.
Last episode was, this time it's personal. We were talking, just kind of catching up on the news and stuff we've been doing. Depending on when this gets uploaded or when you're listening, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is going to be on Disney Plus tomorrow. Or again, today, if it's uploaded tomorrow. I'm just confusing myself.
It's okay. It's going to be
streaming
soon.
Is a construct. Yes. So in this timeline, it's June 21st. Tomorrow, June 22nd, it's going to be on Disney Plus. And we hadn't really done a Doctor Strange review, at least according to my subscription to this podcast.
Probably since the first movie.
I didn't see a Doctor Strange. Yeah, so we're just going to dive in, baby.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness.
Or Mom,
I honestly
for
can't wait
short.
to watch it again. Yes.
Yeah, I saw it twice, mostly because
And how fitting.
I know, right? I actually saw it on Mother's Day. It was great. I'm actually not lying. I did see it on Mother's Day. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I did see it twice, mostly because I missed the first 15 minutes the first time. So I'm like, I gotta get the context.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah, so I'm like, gotta see it again.
Right.
Oh well, you got me.
I'm like, I didn't know who this Doctor Strange was. Right. I didn't know.
Ponytail fantasy. Okay.
Oh man. Oh my god. In the first 15 minutes is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Like jumping through.
So I'm glad you got to see it.
Yeah. I was like, I missed this whole thing, this whole sequence. It was great.
Yeah, that's a pretty wild opening sequence where he's with America Chavez and trying to get to the Book of the Vishanti?
Mm-hmm. Book of Ashanti.
Where were they? Was that the Senator? Yeah. Was that where were they? Was that like in like a? This is why I have to watch it again, because I've only seen it the one time. But they were in some dimensional plane where the book is kept, and I just feel like that they're being chased by that ribbon monster. I just imagine like a bunch of disgruntled dance girls with the flags. God. They just like morphed into one mega being.
Yeah. Essentially, America is being chased through the multiverse because of the power she possesses. Which is to cross the multiverse. Right. So she's a very hot ticket item. Yeah.
I like that her portals are stars.
Yeah, it's very patriotic. I love it.
Yeah, and it's her name is America. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I thought they did a good job explaining her power set for those who weren't aware of her. Like, I'm sure a lot of the people who have seen the movies who don't read Young Avengers. Thought they did a good job. It was interesting though, that she's the only one who can't dream, because when you dream, you're actually seeing a version of yourself in the multiverse.
That was
she's I can't dream.
Yeah, that was a really cool concept that I never you think you would think of, but I never actually thought of, and I was like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. It's kind of interesting to establish it in the multiverse.
Or you did think about it. You're like, nah, it's stupid. Nobody will ever buy that. Nobody will ever want to go with that. And then you see it, and you're like, oh, man.
That's my idea.
Yeah. I love, one thing I really enjoyed about the Marvel movies post-Endgame is, just kind of seeing where everybody is, and not just main characters like Doctor Strange, but, the supporting cast.
Yeah.
I think, when he's in the church next to the doctor who was in the first movie, talk about,
with his new haircut, I loved it.
It was he came back, his cats were dead, and and just kind of interesting to be really, there was really no other way. It's funny how kind of well known that is. Was there a book tour, or were they on the Today Show?
That? And it's very confidential,
Yeah, I feel like yeah, because it's not it wasn't a televised event,
right?
So it was just it makes you I'm very curious to know I guess the level of knowledge that people have. People obviously know who Stephen Strange is, So, like, was magic just like a big fucking secret up until Doctor Strange? You're like, oh, so there are magicians, wizards are real,
Right,
you know?
right.
Like, it's just, I'm curious. See, this is why I would love for them to do like more Marvel one shots,
Yeah.
or like, you know, just do like little gap fillers.
Here's like Marvel's like people on the ground kind of thing, you know, how the world's like reacting to superheroes.
Like a. Yeah, or what was that one comic book story? Was it like Frontline?
Yeah.
Where it was just like kind of like, like kind of stories from the told by the Daily Bugle or whatever. But I did like that though, just kind of seeing, because we've been able to get that with like WandaVision, you know, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, you know, kind of seeing where people have landed after Endgame. So I thought that was really interesting. And I crazy that like right out the gate we find out that was it Palmer, his old flame, is getting married.
I know, right in the gut.
And
gut punch.
Yeah. But
She seems happy.
But I thought it was she does seem happy. I think this is kind of I thought this was a nice way to kind of like send her off, because I don't know how much else they could have done with Palmer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so I think this made sense, as well as when we, spoiler alert, catch up to one of her multiversal counterparts. Like, I think it was a nice way of kind of him letting go.
Yeah, for sure.
Of that. But I gotta say though, probably one of the best superhero entrances when they're out on the balcony, and he takes out like the handkerchief and does the thing, and it's the cape, and he jumps over the railing.
Glides down.
That was hot.
Cool. That was very cool.
Oh, that was
he was like
that was so
fighting
cool.
Shuma Gorath or whatever they call him in this movie.
Yeah, that was cool to see. And you know, and it was right then at that moment that any kind of fear or doubt I had about Sam Raimi doing this were like gone.
Okay,
because it was because I like Sam Raimi, you know, but I think after Spider-Man 3, I was nervous. I was happy he was getting a shot at redemption, but you just never know. But it just felt, I was so aware I was watching a Sam Raimi movie, and I was so okay with it.
I think it's
like, it just felt like it was.
I think it's like this better that he's kind of
marks.
like going through like the filter of Kevin Feige and not just kind of like doing his own thing. I think that it's a little bit more coherent. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've heard Sam Raimi say that too, actually, that he actually, I think he had an easier time with Doctor Strange than he did with Spider-Man, because Spider-Man he had to build from the ground up. Whereas this is a shit ton of movies, so much has been established that now he only has to worry about. But no, it was great, definitely within his wheelhouse. I really, really loved that. And of course, I love the reveal of Wong. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I guess it's not really a reveal, because they established that in Spider-Man, that he was like the new Sorcerer Supreme. On a technicality, because, you know, Doctor Strange had been blipped. But I liked. I was actually kind of amazed too with this movie how quickly we get going on certain things. Like, here's the plot. She's the MacGuffin. Something's after her. We gotta protect her. Oh wait, twist. Like,
I like it.
The twist about Wanda was pretty. I did too. I was like, oh, okay, we're just.
Yeah, like despite being a Sam Raimi movie, it definitely kind of like harkens back to like the kind of like the '90s adventure movies, like Indiana Jones and stuff like that, which is kind of like, you know, breakneck pace, like just get into it. And I'm like, I like this, you know.
Yes,
I will.
It's like the whole thing's a chase movie,
right? And I will say, like, at first I was kind of like, oh, it's the Sam Raimi thing. It's very visibly Sam Raimi, but like I guess like sometimes for me it's like I kind of get to this conflict of like, you know, is there a place for like authorship in like, you know, establish like the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
the Marvel,
and like, you know, I think they did a pretty good job blending the two of universe, like the two styles. Sometimes I did feel a little bit of like whiplash in terms of like tone, but like I think overall I think it was really it was pretty well done.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the moments that felt the most Sam Raimi, I thought really shined, like, you know, when we like with Wanda coming out of reflective services.
That was so creepy. I loved
that
it.
whole bit. Oh my god! Especially when she like has to like where it's almost kind of like The Ring, the way she like came out and she's all distorted and has to kind of reassemble herself, or like Pennywise from It, like that was really cool. I was just really impressed and kind of surprised with how quickly we learned that like Wanda was the big bad.
They didn't even like wait for like a dramatic reveal. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, like for some reason I thought it was going to be like, well, she'll help Doctor Strange and whatever, but then maybe she might come to a point where she succumbs to temptation or something. But it was just like, nope. Like, I love when he goes to see her at that, like, in that field, and and then she catches herself like, oh, but I didn't say her name or something like that, and then you realize, you're in this like
hellscape,
red apple orchard from hell, with the Darkholme, and I loved like, this is me asking nicely.
Yeah, that was a really cool.
I loved that. Yeah. And then she fucking shows up and all hell breaks loose.
Dude, she washes that whole. When she goes to come for America, she's like, invades Camartage. Yeah, she.
Oh my god.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, so well done. And I think I know there was a lot of complaints, though, or some people weren't happy with the about face that like Wanda went through, and then people thought it was.
Sorry, there's like people were complaining a lot about like, the face heel turn was like too abrupt. Oh, they should have shown the Darkhold corrupting her. I'm like, we already basically, you can glean a lot of information. It's like you don't have to show that all the time. Like I don't know. I thought it was like a baseless complaint, but whatever. They still want to see their favorite character be bad.
I think you're right. I've seen a lot of people, like video essayists on YouTube, who just were freaking the fuck out over Wanda. Yeah. And my thing is, it's a culmination. I mean, like, you think back to like Age of Ultron. Like, she's lost her brother. Yep. She has lost her home, like her country. Yep. She's responsible for a bunch of deaths in Civil War. Yep. Granted, by accident, when that bomb went off, or and then fucking the love of her life died in front of her twice
for nothing. Yeah,
and one of the times she was the one that had to do it. And then Endgame, like, so.
Oh, sorry. Quick thing. Like, also,
it wasn't like I'm on my.
They also like show like even like Age of Ultron. It's like she's willing to go to extremes in order to do what she thinks is right. So like that's like a core character thing in her first appearance. So it's like it's not that surprising. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I agree. No. I thank you for bringing that up because it's true. I mean, it's not like Daenerys in like Game of Thrones where like she becomes crazy in like 6 episodes after how many seasons. Right. Like it was. This has all been kind of building up, and I think it's realistic that like okay, fuck it, I'm done. Like I've tried to play by the rules, I've tried to do the hero thing, and like what did it get me, and I have all this power, so like fuck it, let me do something for myself, It all seems, because it wasn't like, oh, I'm on my period and now I'm a bad bitch. Like, like you know what I mean? Like, I know there are a lot of people who feel like this was detrimental to representation of women. No. It's like, slow down.
We don't have any prominent female villains. Like, that's like that's a major too, Like, I don't know.
Well, and we get something that we really don't with other villains, is that, we don't get to see them change, right? Like a lot of these villains, like we get the exposition backstory dump. They come in, they're bad, they're dead, and then on to the sequel. Right. Like, I mean, can you imagine if we had like if Red Skull got this treatment, right? We got to see him like morph over how many movies, like Doctor Strange, like, or or maybe like, oh, like this isn't what I signed up for. I want to start my own thing and do Hydra. Like it's.
Right.
We don't get that with other villains.
Right. A lot more we have empathy for this villain, like, for once,
Right. Yeah. I mean, if anything, it's like you kind of get where she's coming from. I don't condone it, but I mean, I get why she's pissed, because she's lost everything.
Right.
So yeah, some people got really upset about that, and I was like, I just don't think. I try to be open-minded to the criticism,
but it's also mostly like, doing the right thing results in bad things happening to her. So like obviously it's like I'm gonna try to do like
Yes.
the wrong thing and see if that changes things, you know. And she got pretty damn far. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Right. And no. It's totally fine. And we also learn early on too, like how much of this isn't actually her.
Right.
That a lot of this is the dark home, or dark hold, you know,
corrupting,
pulling strings. You know, yeah. Because when we get to the Illuminati, which I couldn't wait for, I will admit that
scene.
I just kind of spent the first half of I spent the first half of the movie being like, when do we get to this? You know,
I have fond memories of that scene.
Yeah, seeing not Monica Rambeau, but Monica Rambeau's mom as Captain Marvel,
Maria,
that was cool. I obviously, thank you, Maria, and I also loved seeing Captain Carter, especially after the What If. That was awesome. Of course, we knew Xavier was coming.
I love how he tried to deny it in the interview. Is like, people can duplicate my voice or
yeah,
it was so dumb.
No, stop it. I was happy that when he showed up, you hear the hint of the '92 X-Men theme.
Love it.
And he's wearing the costume, the green suit, the blue and black tie,
yellow hover chair.
That was like a submarine. That was the yellow submarine.
Yes.
Like that thing was like, I was like, Jesus Christ, it's a boxcar. Like what? Like it's a little. I thought it was a little too. Like it seemed like it was high up.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, like you've been brought to. But the thing that got me, and I'll say why. Not only did we see Reed Richards, but the fact that we saw John Krasinski as Reed Richards. The reason why that got me is because I have seen so much fan art.
Yeah, the fans were clamoring
of him
for
as
that.
Reed Richards.
Yeah.
There is like a huge online push for this dude being Reed Richards. That when I saw it, I didn't believe it. Like to me, it looked like, oh, that's just bad fan art. Like there was like a split second in my brain, like, oh, here we go, another Photoshop. Like, you know how many times you see like somebody making a fake movie poster of like,
totally, I get
a
what
movie
you're
that's
saying.
like coming out. It looked like like for a split second, my mind was like, oh, cool, like another.
Wait a minute.
The fact that my brain had the audacity to be like, oh, more bad fan art.
It's a
great
great Photoshop edit. Great. Where's Emily Blunt?
Yeah.
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 No, totally.
And I gotta say, too, I love seeing Black Bolt in a comic book accurate costume.
Yeah. I'm glad they brought back Anson Mount. That was like really cool. Just kind of even though people were upset with the Inhumans show, they kind of did a little continuity nod, which is nice,
Yeah. I think it is nice because that wasn't his fault.
Right.
I mean, and that could have been an easy acting gig either, because he can't really say anything,
right.
So he has so much to express without emoting. Right. And so I didn't. I mean, Inhumans did suck. I couldn't finish it, but I didn't have a problem with the cast. It was like everything else. It was like the production and the writing. But I think it was cool that they brought him in. I loved when they tell what happened to their version of Doctor Strange. Like you see them on Titan, like Thanos' home planet, and like he's impaled with his own.
Yeah, it's like alternate universe
just,
Endgame or Infinity War. Sorry.
I kind of want to see that movie. Like what did that look like?
Sorry. Quick thing. I didn't mean to backtrack, but for Reed Richards, I'm glad they it was cool to see John Krasinski and kind of have that fan service, but I really wish they had casted Ian Grufford just to kind of keep all the the Fox universe stuff in the same package. That would have been really cool. But obviously, I'm not in charge of these films.
Do you know what I was?
Yeah.
No, you know what I was waiting for, and I knew this was a big, tall order. But I really was hoping to see Chris Evans as Johnny Storm.
That would have been cool. Yeah.
He obviously would not be in the Illuminati, but I thought it'd be great if if Steven saw him, oh, Steve. It's like, no, it's Johnny.
Yeah.
No, you're Captain America. Okay.
Right.
You know what I
really
mean?
Cool.
Some kind of that would have been hilarious. But I agree though, because I actually don't mind those Fantastic Four films.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Like, they're not as bad as people say. Because I rewatched them a couple months ago, and I thought they were fine. But yeah, yeah, it was cool. I mean, I liked, and I do like seeing bearded Reed Richards, because that's like the current look for him right now in the comics. But I also think, if they continue to with him being Reed Richards, I'm okay with it. I think he'd be a good Reed. But we also know that the multiverse, they don't all have to look the same,
right,
as Spider-Man: Far From Home showed us. So right. I don't know where it's gonna go, but it was cool seeing Patrick Stewart, and I did like when he tried to go in and help Wanda, because that's where we learn, or we get a better understanding of how much control Wanda is actually in, because it was like, I don't know, the way I interpreted it was like her real self is the one that was like trapped under the rubble, and the Darkhold.
Yeah, there's like so Wanda travels to listeners, if you haven't watched it yet. Wanda travels to the alternate universe of 838 and possesses that Wanda through this concept of dream walking, which is basically invading your alternate selves through your dreams. So then she kind of like wreaks havoc, and then, as you were saying, Paul, sorry, just getting some background.
No. Yeah, no. Thank you for that. I like I said, I've only seen it the one time, so I do need the
Chandler, who has seen it twice.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. No, but I just thought that was a cool representation. So I feel like for those who were like, Wanda's bad now, I was like, well, she's not like bad.
Right.
She's, I mean, like, it's an easy out. Like that's such a simple redemption arc that she could go on. Whether we see her in Wonder Man or whatever. Like, I don't think she's dead, but we'll get to that. But yeah, but the neck snapping. See, that whole death.
Dude,
like
she
Wanda
tore through them like wet toilet paper. It was beautiful. I love that whole sequence. Ugh.
Dude,
go Wanda.
Black Bolt with his head like just
caving in. Oh my god,
like,
yes.
Oh man.
Oh, that was beautiful.
And then Reed Richards just like turning into like
spaghetti.
Confetti, not confetti, but yeah, spaghetti. Captain Marvel. I mean, you think too, you look how powerful Captain Marvel is in like Endgame. She goes through a fucking ship, no problem. Right. And so the fact that she was taken out by Wanda, and even for Wanda, I mean, she almost took out Thanos. Like if you remember in Endgame,
he had to like bomb the whole field just to get her off him.
Yeah, right. But yeah, that scene was wild.
Yeah. But I was not prepared, but I loved every second of it.
Yeah, same. And a part of me hopes that there's like another version of Captain Marvel out there, because I love Haley Atwell, and I feel like I hope they give her something more to do later on, because I feel like her biggest role was like first Avenger, and then
Agent Carter TV series.
Since then, it was just. Yeah, and then it was just like a pop-up in Age of Ultron. Yeah. Like, she's got 2 scenes in Endgame where she doesn't really say anything. So, it'd be cool to see her, like... She looked great in the Captain Carter gear, so...
And they gave her a jetpack. That was so cool.
I would be down for, like, a Disney Plus Captain Carter series where, like, it's, where we see... It's, like, a different version of her.
Yeah. I'm totally down.
So it's not the one who died; it's another one. But I did. Then I gotta backtrack a little bit because you reminded me when you mentioned was it the dream walking or dream stalking?
Dream walking or something. Yeah,
it's kind of like dream stalking. No, but I loved when you saw her go into the other universe, and it was like a horror movie where like remember she's walking through the kitchen and everything's acting weird, and like there's a picture of herself like turning to look at her, and I love
that was so cool.
That when she takes control, like she like looks at the camera, like breaking the fourth wall. Like it was just all of that was beautifully done. Like just
it's like
that was some good Rami.
Yeah, it's like moments like that where it's like this is kind of like a horror movie. I love it, and like that was great. And I love they brought back the actors from WandaVision.
the same twins there.
Yeah.
Although I think the creepiest part about that movie was that fucking ice cream song they sing.
That was
Remember
so
that? Like,
cringe, but whatever. Alternate reality, we don't have to acknowledge it.
I was like, are they casting their own spell?
This is very like Mary Poppins, like.
Yeah. Yeah, just but yes, and the next is oh yeah, when they're trying to outrun Wanda, when they're like in that tunnel, like underneath the.
Yeah, she's like all gnarled and beat up from the Ultron bots. Yeah, she's just like limping.
Yeah, it's also kind of like fucking Terminator.
Yeah,
like just like
that was awesome.
Oh no, it all was good, and I have to say, and when I say this as somebody who loves my wife very much, and she knows, and we bonded over this, that Elizabeth Olsen looked really good in this movie. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm scared.
She was eating for
and
sure.
a little turned on.
Yeah. No.
Like, damn.
Served.
Like,
Yeah.
I've seen her in. Yeah, I mean, obviously she's a very pretty woman, and yeah, and look great in all the other Marvel movies. But for some reason, in this one, I'm like, I guess I really do like powerful women. I guess that is my thing. Like, I was just like, I'm kind of afraid
reasonable
of her,
women.
a little turned on. Yeah. But she was. I just thought she was great in it. I mean, she's a talented actress.
Yeah.
Man. She was great in WandaVision.
She showed
too.
so much range in just this this entire
great.
movie.
Oh my god. Well, yeah. I mean, and she's like, playing like, like two different roles.
Yeah.
But just so good, and I also love to when they go to confront that alternate version of Strange. Where they go into that the weird creepy house with the staircase that goes into the sky. Yeah, that whole bit was
the music.
That was kind of cool too. I loved that.
I thought it was really cheesy and very 90s, but it was cool, I guess.
It was very cheesy. It was very 90s, but it's also very Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Like, that is something I feel like I could see in a comic book. You know
Well,
what I
you
mean?
can't
Where
just
like
throw a fireball.
Because that's what. Yeah, but Strange was always like, I don't know. I feel like that's just what he taking the unexpected and flipping it. Like I loved in the first movie that he was able to beat Dormammu over a time loop.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Like he just he won by annoying him. I feel like that's a Doctor Strange, and so, them playing with or fighting each other with music, I'm like, yeah, that tracks. That's I mean, if it was going to be in any Marvel movie, it could only be in Doctor Strange.
Right.
But I did like that. I thought the third eye was interesting. That the Evil Strange had. Can I tell you how many times I saw that? I would just think of the band Third Eye Blind, and then Semi Charmed Kind of Life would start playing. Yeah.
Yep. It's about meth, listeners. It's about meth. Sorry. I really liked in terms of character wise, or how Wanda never failed to point out how hypocritical Doctor Strange is, and how he can break the rules and it's fine, but as
you do it, you're
exactly.
a hero. I do it, I'm a bitch.
Exactly. But she brings it up multiple times, even when she was using dreamwalking to possess her alternate self, but then Strange uses dreamwalking, but in a way more bastardized version, which is apparently forbidden, where he takes control over his alternate self, but the alternate self is a corpse, and that's apparently forbidden in the magic
which
rules. Looked really awesome.
Yep.
But very hypocritical,
dude.
And he deserves to pay for that.
The dream walking into his deceased self gave me life.
I was living.
You know what I mean? Because again, it's a very Doctor Strange and also very Sam Raimi.
Yeah. You
thing.
gotta get a zombie in here somewhere.
Evil books and reanimated dead people.
Right.
It's Evil Dead.
Right.
But I gotta say though, I love. And then when all of those demons were trying to take him and they couldn't, and then he fucking makes a cloak out of them.
Yep.
That was fucking awesome. all the twisted like skeletal demon people.
But make it fashion.
I loved that. Yes. Fear. Sell me the fantasy. Yeah, no, I loved that. And I also, you know, really like that when I like how they wrapped up the conflict. Like, I think Wanda seeing her own kids being afraid of her, I thought was great. I thought that was a really good way of doing it. And I love when the other Wanda said, like, they will be loved, you know? And,
Get the hell out of my house.
Yeah. And they will be loved.
Oh, God.
But no, I just thought that was good because I feel like that's accurate from like the good parents that I know that would be like enough for them to be like, you know, I don't want my kids to be afraid of me,
right.
you know, unless you're my family.
No,
sort of, maybe, I don't know. But I did like that, but I also liked that moment with America Chavez where she is, you know, kind of coming to terms with, okay, like I get it, like I know why I have to die because you know, there's always gonna be somebody who wants this power or whatever, you know, and you know, she couldn't control it, and I love that Doctor Strange was like, yeah, no, you got this, like you can do it. Like every time we've jumped, you always knew where to go, you know, you always, you know, I mean. The thing with your parents sucks, but that wasn't your fault. And, you know, I liked that. Like, I liked that it was kind of like she was coming into her own. Yeah. And I know there was a lot of criticism, which I don't get at all. There was a lot of criticism about American Chavez and, like, her casting because, like, she wasn't dark enough or not, like, Afro-Latina enough.
Oh, interesting.
You know, which...
I didn't hear about that.
Which it just makes me... It makes me kind of feel bad for the actress because that's like not her fault. I mean, she's also like, if you look at the actress's name, I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like she's a white girl playing the part, you know.
That's so interesting.
And the representation still matters, you know. I mean, because I'm sure there are girls out there who look like her and appreciate, you know. I don't know. But again, I'm white. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think some people were kind of, like, upset about, like, Doctor Strange kind of being like, no, you got this. Because I think they kind of took it as, like, no, you do it. No. And I thought how I took it was, like, Doctor Strange was kind of demonstrating what it meant to be a good ally.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like, you got this.
Right. Also, it's just, like, about, like,
here, you know,
giving people, like, the space to reclaim their own agency, you know? We have like two characters who are not allowed to be.
That's how I took it.
Right, sorry, we have two characters who are not allowed to be in control of themselves, and like, you know, one's like, you know, suffering for it, and one's like, you know, being pursued to the death for it. You know, so it was like nice that Doctor Strange was like, you know, hey, no, you know, step into your own power. You know, that's how I interpreted it, at least.
Same. I just thought this is a good, you know, analogy for what it means to be a good ally. Correct, yeah. You know, it's just being there. You know, and just making sure that this person gets their agency, they get their identity, they know how to, you know, use their power. That's how I took it, because it wasn't like Doctor Strange taking the spotlight, and it wasn't like him being lazy. I just thought, I don't know, that's how I took it. But I also did love, you know, like I was saying earlier about, you know, when he kind of finds some closure with Amanda Palmer, you know, his nurse love interest. What is it he says?
God.
Like I've loved you in every universe.
Oh god, like, so me and my friend I rolled so hard at that, because it's just like that's like the most fuckboy thing to say. It's like, oh, I love you in every universe, but for some reason I still can't commit to you. It's like, ugh, go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever. Yeah. I guess like someone ate it up. I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I will follow that ass in any universe.
Yes, we'll not put a ring on it.
That ass claps in every. Yeah.
Yes.
That ass claps in every universe. Yep. Anytime I hear a bell, I know some cheeks are clapping somewhere in the multiverse. But I thought it was good. Maybe not that line, but I think just kind of like the closure, because it leads into that surprise cameo that we got at the end. Miss Charlize their own.
Miss.
I was like, ooh, is he going to be in the Fast and the Furious?
Ooh. Was she? Or did she not take that role?
Yeah, no, she's like in 3 of those movies.
Oh, hell yeah. Great. I'm like so behind. I only think the first 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's in... I haven't seen the most recent one, but yeah, but I know she's like in at least 2 of them. But yeah, because she plays Clea?
Clea?
I believe, who is... Yeah, she's the... It's so... I don't know how this genealogy works, but her uncle is Dormammu.
And they're both purple.
And because they're both purple, so the genetics track. But like when she shows up, you can see the negative... Not the negative zone. That's Fantastic Four, but like the... why am I blanking on the name? That called? Like the dead space where Dormammu lives.
Oh.
I don't know. Let's call it the dead zone. I don't know what it is.
realm.
But you see it, yeah, because it's very distinctly, neon Steve Ditko kind of thing. So I thought that was cool. I thought what was interesting though that I didn't quite get is that, the movie ends, and you see Stephen Strange walking down the street. Life is good. And then semi-charmed kind of life cracks open on his forehead, and he's screaming, losing his shit, right? Then you get the credits, and then you get, he's fine now. Charlize shows up, and his eye opens, and like...
Yeah, he was like, we're in the same outfit, I'm sure.
So like,
it was weird.
I'm like, did I miss a reel?
Right, was it painful
like,
or not?
Did I miss...
Yeah.
Like, yeah, how did he get the resolution from... Right. Was he like, oh my god, oh, Charlize.
Oh, hey. Hey, Charlize.
I'm so happy. Hey, girl, hey. I love you in every universe. Yeah. What's up, girl?
I was kind of annoyed that, like, as I mentioned before, like how Wanda is constantly calling out Steven's hypocrisy. And, like, he basically, like, violates so many, like, magic laws, and his only punishment is an extra eye. And like Wanda like loses her like herself, or loses her everything she loves. Like it's just like it's not fair.
Right.
So I think,
and I don't think she's dead. Like when you see the mountain crumble, right, and you see that flash of red, I think she like teleported somewhere. Yeah. I'm sorry, I cut you off there.
That was fine.
I'm sorry.
You're great. No. Yeah, I hope she pops up somewhere else.
I don't think she did.
Maybe we'll get her some...
That's why I hope she pops up in Wonder Man. And also, they would be kind of like fools to kill her off.
Yeah.
Because there's so much they can still do. Right. And I would like to see her be the Scarlet Witch in the Avengers.
Yeah, we haven't got that. She was always just Wanda Maximoff. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, she hasn't been called the fucking Scarlet Witch until WandaVision, right. So let's have Scarlet Witch be an Avenger. Yeah, I want that, because I feel like you need some of the old-ish guard in there, because, like we were saying earlier, Steve's old, Tony's dead.
Yeah. I think it'd also be really good to, like, just, like, see, like, an actual real-time redemption story, as opposed to, like, because, she did kill a lot of people, I also, like, even with, like, Winter Soldier, like, he's on the path of redemption, and, like, it wasn't really easy for him.
Yeah, why can't... Yeah. That would be an interesting coupling. They could both bond over, like, we were both mind controlled and sexy while it was happening.
Yeah, for sure. But also getting beat up by teenagers.
Like, yeah, you had... Yep, I had the mascara running down my face. She's got the mascara on her fingers. I mean, they went through. They both went through a goth phase.
Dark stains mascara. That's hilarious.
Mascara-esque.
Yeah, I love it. No, that was great.
Where'd you two meet? At a Hot Topic.
It's not a phase, Mom.
Yeah. Every once in a while, if I'm near a Hot Topic, I will pop in.
Peruse the shelves. Mm-hmm.
They got some good stuff, man. I mean, like I think I took Angela in there once, and she was like, oh, I can't believe we're going in, and there was so much Sailor Moon stuff in there. She was like, I don't know, this is too much. I want it all. So I think they know their audience is getting old. Yeah. It's like, oh, we got to cater to not just the youngins, but the formerly young. Utes.
The Utes.
Anywho. Yeah. But all in all, I was very happy with Doctor Strange. My buddy Juan, I think, said it best. And, he's been on the show a couple of times where he was saying how, because he was kind of on the fence about Sam Raimi directing it, and he was like, man, was I wrong? What a way for Sam Raimi to make me feel like an idiot and just be like, sit down and shut up and watch this awesome movie. He's like, yep, nope. Because that movie was great. When I talked to him about it afterwards, we were both just like, I cannot believe how good that was. It was like you were saying, the pace, like it just doesn't stop. Like it's just got that 90s like go 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 go. I'm excited for more. I'm excited to see what happens with Strange next. I would love to see Strange and Scarlet Witch being on the Avengers lineup together. Like maybe they I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of have like a hesitant reunion, or I don't know, maybe he can be her sponsor. Like, no guys, like she's different now. It's all good. My third eye blind confirmed it. I can see, That would be funny, yeah, just like I'll read from the book of, the Vishanti. I want something
God.
to get me through this.
I thought you were going to sing the ice cream song. I was like, please don't.
Yeah, I think I would take Semi-Charmed Life over the creepy kid ice cream song. Or the creepy kid singing Semi-Charmed kind of life.
Oh no. Kids is about meth.
Is it? But yeah, no, I'm really, and I'm happy for Sam Raimi because I think this was, again, I think a good redemption arc for him. Because his, last outing was Spider-Man 3, and we all know how we felt about that. And so I'm glad that and I hope he does more, because it sounds, from what I understand, he and Feige got along really well.
Yeah, like even with Far From No Way Home. Yeah, like hopefully it kind of opens up the doors to like doing more Spider-Man projects, maybe, and kind of like seeing more Peter, our original Peter. Because people were like a lot of fans were clamoring for Andrew Garfield to get another Spider-Man film because they really liked him in No Way Home. So
yeah, and it'd be cool. I think it'd be kind of just nice to give him his own trilogy. Honestly, I would be okay if any one of those guys got another movie. I would totally see a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4. I would totally see an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man 3. Because I will say, because I didn't realize until watching No Way Home how much I enjoyed Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I was like, I actually, I did like him in, the first one. And he was great in No Way Home. And also, I want to see the story of him, like, trying to control being, like, the Zack Snyder Spider-Man, where he's like, I just, after Gwen died, I just, I became angry.
Punch things.
A little too, like, I see that.
Got a little rough with the criminals.
Yeah, I can see that Spider-Man standing in the rain, moping, So either one of those, but, definitely want to see more of Sam Raimi. I'm dying to see where the Marvel movies are going, because, we're post-Endgame. We have, like, a couple of clues of where it's going, but we have... Because remember at the end of Avengers, it was like, Thanos. Like, okay, we know he's coming down the pipeline. I guess we had that with Kang, but it's not
he's only been in Loki, so we don't really know. Yeah. We'll get Quantumania.
Yeah, and we're not going to see him again until... Yeah, Quantumania, maybe Loki season 2?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it was kind of like seeing how the team is going to come together and like what the final roster is going to be if they do like another phase of Avengers. But they're not really crossing over, really, So
yeah. So something's got to happen. Something has to reunite them, and that's why I was thinking somebody from the old guard, like Bruce Banner or Hawkeye. Being there to be a guiding force, or just to kind of like I could totally see like Bruce Banner being like their guy in the chair.
The Zordon.
You know, like, yeah, like them being, you know, oh, you gotta go here, there, or wherever, you know, because, I mean, because who's left, right? I mean, it's really just Banner and Hawkeye. Yeah. I mean, well, War Machine's getting his own thing with Armor Wars on Disney Plus, so that'll be cool. So, yeah, you could have him in it. You know, like I said, it'd be Scarlet Witch would be cool. I think it'd be cool to see, like, the new Avengers where you have, like, level? Sam, Captain America. Yeah, or, like, what was the Avengers lineup they did where it was, like, it was Kamala Khan, Sam, Captain America, the Jane Foster Thor. That could be kind of cool to see, too, like, if that was an Avengers lineup. Because, I mean, because I feel like that's what a lot of this has been setting up. Like, we have, like, a new Vision, you know,
new Cap, new Thor,
Hawkeye. Yeah. And honestly, I hope Chris Hemsworth keeps playing Thor. I'm okay if, like, he and Jane Foster are on an Avengers lineup.
Yeah, share the mantle. Yeah, totally. We can have two Hawkeyes. We can have two Thors.
Endgame showed us having both of those hammers on the field, wielded by two different people. It works.
Epic. Yeah.
It was so money. So yeah, if you haven't figured it out, we loved Doctor Strange. And yeah, any final thoughts on Strange?
Really cool. I really like that Marvel is taking more risks in terms of like changing up the formula and exploring different genres and not just kind of doing like cookie cutter superhero films. So it just opens more doors for different kinds of storytelling. So I'm really excited to see where they go from here.
Amen to that. What Chandler said, I agree 100%. Yeah, it's always good to branch out, try new things. I think it's really paid off for Marvel so far. I mean, like, it's hard to look back and think, like, I was nervous about Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, I was nervous about Ant-Man, you know, but it's all worked out really well. Yeah, really enjoyed Doctor Strange, and yeah, I'm just excited to see. Just bring Wanda back. I want to see what they'll do with Wanda next. But yeah. Apart from Doctor Strange, anything else you've been watching recently? I know, like, you kind of briefly touched on anime in the first part, but I don't know if there's anything else that you're reading, or maybe even you want to read or you want to go see.
Yeah. What have I been doing? So, in terms of anime, I've been watching this new one called Spy X Family, which is kind of like a bit of a situational comedy with, like, this spy basically needs to infiltrate a school to get, like, his target, but he has to basically adopt a daughter in order to enroll her in the school to get close to the target. So he goes to an orphanage, but the daughter is actually like a psychic who was like raised in a lab. And like a lot of the comedy between them is like her being able to read his thoughts, but him not knowing that she's psychic. So there's a lot of like funny things there. But then now that he has a daughter, he needs a wife. So he ends up hiring and marrying like an assassin who's like completely unrelated to everyone, but she's like super sweet, but then she has like this dark side where she's like, I'm like a bloodthirsty killer, but it's like this is kind of like they just make it work as a family. And it's just really cute despite like the
what was the show
Spy
called
X Family.
Spy X Family, let's check that out.
Yeah, super cute.
Where's it streaming?
Crunchyroll, I believe.
Crunchyroll. Okay. I should have known. I feel like everything's on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, or that or Funimation, one or the other. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, that's cool. I will have to check that out. You're reading anything? Anything on your radar as far as like books?
I'm reading a lot of like random spirituality books, like The Power of Now, and like I don't know.
That's cool.
I'm becoming like some weird hermit mystic now. I don't get it, but.
Oh my God, Angela will be happy to hear
that. Great. In terms of comics, I'm still reading the X-Men stuff. I'm still, I know basically the plots of what's going on currently, but I'm still physically back in like pre-Hellfire Gala, so I'm still catching up on like Marauders, Hellions, which I love Hellions. It's so good. I'm so upset they canceled it, but yeah, super.
Hellions, I felt like it took a little bit to get its footing, and I feel like when it did is when they pulled the plug.
Yeah, it's not fair.
That's my 2 cents. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I'm a little behind on X-Men as well. But I liked the Hellfire Club, and I also liked some of the stuff that followed. I know some people didn't, like the Trial of Magneto. I know some people were like, meh, but I liked it. I actually like what that did for Krakoa. Okay. That's all I'll say, because I don't want to spoil anything. Yeah, of course. I'm trying to think. We saw Top Gun, Maverick, and it was awesome. I did not expect that movie to be good. And when I heard, like, the early reviews, I was like, no way. You know, like, oh, I got a standing ovation at, like, the Cannes Film Festival. I'm like, yeah, right. You know, and it's like, oh, it's, like, 98 on Rotten Tomatoes. And then people started texting me, like, dude, when you seeing Top Gun? I'm like, get off my back. And I saw it. And I was like, wow, yeah, it was really, really good. And I was a fan of the first one. Like, I mean, I was a huge fan of Top Gun. Like, I had a cat. His name was Maverick.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like I was totally obsessed with Top Gun. That's why a lot of people were texting me, because like these are people who used to babysit me. Like, have you seen Top Gun yet? I'm like, no. Also, I was 4 when I was super duper into those movies. Like, I went through a period where like I didn't watch Top Gun again, but yeah, going to see Maverick, man, it was just so well done. You know, and what they were able to achieve, because apparently not a lot of CGI.
Wow.
Like, a lot of that
Practical?
was
Whoa.
like real aerial stuff that they had coordinated.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff where, like, you know, where they were like flying in the plane. I mean, they weren't flying the plane, but they made it so that the pilot was like, you know, where like the pilot's in the front and then the camera's facing the pilot, you know, the actor pretending to fly the plane, but they're actually going around and like, you know, going 5G or whatever. Like, yeah, crazy. That was really good. Oh man, I kind of fell down this true crime hole.
Fun.
Yes, there is a Netflix. There is a Netflix. Sorry, there is a documentary on Netflix I've been telling everybody about. I refuse to shut up about it because it's fascinating. It's called The Search for the Sons of Sam. Sons, plural, because the documentary is about this guy, Maury Terry, who was a reporter who was convinced that David Berkowitz, the son of Sam, did not act alone, that there were other people involved. And on the surface you'd think, sounds like a bit of a conspiracy theory, and then you watch it and you see some of the evidence and how hard people fought to not get that case reopened. That's all I'm going to say about it.
That's scary.
It's really good. It's really good. It's like, I think it's only like 3 or 4 episodes, and it's narrated by Paul Giamatti, who he basically plays Maury Terry because he passed away. So he's kind of like reading from his because the guy wrote a book called The Ultimate Evil, which I bought a copy afterwards. And it's fascinating. Like, it's not so much. Like, one thing I've noticed about these like true crime things, it's not so much the crime or the serial killers. It's kind of like everything around it, like just kind of how. Yeah, like it's just it's just crazy. Like, when you just look at the city's response and like what was going on at the time in like the 70s, like, you know, because so many police officers were like laid off, you know, like it was just, you know, like the garbage strikes. Like, it's just a really fascinating time. And there's another documentary we watched called The Confession Killer, and it was about this guy who was just admitting to all of these crimes, and while there's no doubt he's a murderer, there's no way that he did all of these crimes, because it would be like well, if these 2 murders were a day apart but were on 2 different sides of the US, there's no way he could like drive from here to there, and what the police did to protect this guy, because he was making the police look good, or the Texas Rangers, that you know, because like, oh, look at all these cases we're solving, you know, and finally, like, the DA was like, well, if we're gonna actually, because this is like in Texas, and he was like, well, if we're actually gonna execute this guy, let's execute him for something that he did do. And so when the DA started asking questions, Texas Rangers turned on the DA. Dude, it's crazy.
Wow. That's fascinating.
So, yeah, it is, dude. Like, the Texas Rangers went after this guy, and, like, they were saying, like, oh, he's involved with, like, money laundering and extortion, and, like, he had to go to trial and, like, you know, defend himself, and he was found not guilty, amazingly, or maybe not amazingly, because it seemed pretty obvious what was happening, but then he, like, sued, like, the Texas Rangers and the state, and the payout that he got from that is in the Guinness Book of World Records.
The DA
as,
or
like, one of the biggest, like,
culprit?
The DA.
Wow.
Because he had to sue, you know, because they falsely said that he was involved with extortion and money laundering, so he had to, you know, he sued them afterwards.
For defamation, wow.
Yeah, and he won.
That's crazy.
But, dude, yeah, so, yes, search for the Sons of Sam and the Confession Killer. Holy shit. Like you know, I mean, like, it's not so much about, like, the horrible crimes, it's just, like, all the shit around it, like, the politics, you know, like, how our justice system works, like, it's just bananas. So, a little unusual for me, because, like I said, I'm not a true crime person.
You
but
are now.
I am now, yeah, it's official. But as far as, like, comic book stuff goes, can't really, I mean, I'm still just reading a bunch of, you know, old Spider-Man stuff. I'll get caught up and be current someday, but in the meantime, I just finished an issue where Spider-Man faces a villain called the Fool Killer, Fool, and he looks like he's, I don't know, he's got like a deep V-neck. He almost looks a bit like
The Fool Killer.
Yeah, look him up. He kind of looks like Wesley from Princess Bride. But he kind of has like a goofy-looking hat, and he shoots people.
He has like the cowl.
Yeah, and he shoots people for being a fool. And how he's defeated is
What does he define as a fool?
I can't tell if it's... You don't really know.
Okay.
But he just goes around killing fools.
Like,
and
fools?
I guess. I don't know.
I'm
but
annoying.
This is how he's defeated. He jumps out a window, right, and some homeless lady sees him, and he's like, you didn't see anything. You know, like, I gotta hide from Spider-Man. I gotta kill Spider-Man. And she's like, you're gonna go after Spider-Man? Only a fool would go after Spider-Man.
God.
And he's like, you're right. I am a fool. And I must kill him.
Wow, he just...
I'm not even, and then Spider-Man's like, no, not gonna happen. But that's how he's defeated. He's like, only a fool will go after Spider-Man, and I am a fool, and I am the Fool Killer.
My prime directive.
So I must kill myself.
So bad. That's so bad.
Oh yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I've been reading, and it's you know, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Oh, yes.
So
I know you are not doing.
every time you watch Doctor Strange now,
Yep.
I'm gonna do like a GIF where it's just like the eye.
Yes. To the beat.
Any last thoughts before we wrap up this episode?
If you haven't heard it for the third time, Semi-Charmed Life is actually about meth, even though it's a fun sounding song.
If you've learned one thing, kids, it's that. Awesome. Well, thank you, Chandler. This has been a blast. I'm so happy I got to catch up with you, and I'm glad we got to record it, for posterity. As always, we're on iTunes. Definitely give us some love. We're going to try to be better about doing more episodes. Maybe not but every once a month. We'll do what we can to be a little better. Appreciate you hanging in there. iTunes. You know the drill. Where you can find a podcast, you can find us, and we're on Instagram and Facebook. And as always, have have fun, but be careful exploring the multiverse.